My name is Rhapsody, welcome back to Disco Elysium. Alright, I think we were inspecting this last time. Feld mural. You see a once bright mural towering above you. The signage has peeled off over the years, but you can still make out Feld Electrical, R&D. A slogan used to intertwine with the loops long time ago. Now only a shadow of the peeled letters remains. It says, tomorrow is just a whisper away. I'll repeat that. Looks like tomorrow never came. He raises his collar of his bomber jacket, step closer. Above the mural, a collapsed roof, broken windows set in walls that are cracking and will soon also fall, and the coastal breeze rustling and sighing in the remains of edifice. There's something in the wind. Sometimes the only way to go forward is to fail first. What is this building? Maybe we could, you know? He points towards the man who points at the building, telling his son something. Ask that man who's pointing at the building. Great idea. Could Ruby be in there, though? In there? She could. Or he points behind you. She could be in the identical one over there. Or maybe that boat shack. Or maybe that church tower. Why single out this one building? Listen to the wind in order to check it out a little bit more. Well, I do think I have something that actually increases my shivers. I'm not wearing anything that decreases my shivers. I think I have like just one piece of equipment that has a little bonus to the shivers. Where are you? There you are. Still, almost no chance. All right. Oh, wow, we managed to fail. It was remarkable. Suddenly, all is quiet. There's no cold hand brushing against your forehead, no rustle in the reeds. The wind has died down, or gone behind a corner. You only hear distant waves washing the coast. The ruin in front of you is as silent as a tomb. What was I even attempting to do here? Trying to talk to the wind? The city? Whatever thought would happen, did not. And now you're just standing there with your hands fallen to your side. Is trying to talk to the city something you've done before? Is it in your secret repertoire? A trick for when you're out of ideas? A prayer of sorts? To Revachol? Turn to Lieutenant. She could be anywhere. How do we find her? How do we? I was really hoping that she would be in the village. The lieutenant sighs, then gets a hold of himself. Okay. She's probably north of the village, and this place is a peninsula. We've already talked to the cryptozoologists. He looks to his right. Working with them might give us a good excuse to run around and give us some structure. That's almost certainly exactly the notes that the game developers were using when they designed this mission with the cryptozoologists. Effectively, all right, we need them to explore the coast. How do we get them to explore the coast? Well, have a mission that gets them to go to all different corners of the coast. Well, maybe a cryptozoologist is looking for stuff. Or maybe they already had the cryptozoologist and then went, oh, well, you're checking traps for the cryptozoologist. And then there's the church. He looks at the bell tower. If I were a murder suspect, I would not hide in the most prominent building here. But who knows? Maybe she's reckless. Or spiritual. She could be looking for refuge. That's a task complete for asking Ruby about the village? What? I haven't even talked to Ruby. Anyway, we do it the old-fashioned way. Sector by sector. Go over the whole peninsula, ask the locals. Enter the places we can enter first, like we did in the village. And if that fails, if we don't find her, then, if we're desperate, we can look here where we can't enter. Bunkers, storm drainage, this place. I'm sure it won't come to that. He looks behind him at the dark red box crumbling across the chasm. I get to re-roll that later. Walk the coast, the old boardwalk, the reeds. You can always come back here and talk to the wind again. Look where it already got you. Taking my money from all these different locations. Another power box. It charges nothing now. It's empty. The fence blocks the path. No way on from here. Alright, I should pull out some different Quippo. Get Nosifed and pretty penny in change right there for us. Just because we might have a suggestion roll in this, I'm gonna take both of those off to get my finger guns ready.
And Mikhail, notice the windows, especially with how there are no windows on the south side. This was to deal with.
A blonde man stands next to his son, pointing to the weather-worn ruins. He sees you approaching and smiles.
You, officers, come to investigate the historic subtext of West Martinez. I'm Trent Heidelstein. You must be Kim Kitsuragi, right? I was just telling my son about this building. Not a lot of people realize the historic significance here. Very rich in hypertext.
I can't believe you're not greeting me, the WF Harrier Dubois. You know Kim, though?
Nice to meet you.
The lieutenant nods. Hold on, hyper what?
Yes, hypertext. Jan Karp and the collection of cultural hyperlinks.
He says as though it's self-evident. Wait, what was this about the windows before?
Oh, yes. So, Mikhail, they had to deal with monitor glare, especially in the summer. They still had vector monitors back then. That was 49 years ago, so they didn't have windows on the south wall.
You and Kim know each other?
No, I can't say that we've met before, but I've heard of Kim, of course. Mikhail, say hi to the officers.
He rests his hand on the boy's shoulder. The child stays hidden behind the hem of his father's coat, clutching to the worm-themed coloring book.
Mikhail's a little tired today. We spent all night trying to run Orbis on his radio computer. Have you heard of it? It's a programming language used in Grad. Quite tricky, but he wanted to play this Grad-made adventure program. We've been getting really into worms lately.
What a good dad this guy is! The man speaks in the artificial cadence of a professor, or someone who's been on way too many radio shows. Really? I like his... I feel like that's a read of me that I really like his voice and find it quite genuine. See, I guess I find it genuine because the dude is obviously very, very familiar with these topics. Like, maybe I'm mistaking genuineness, or maybe I'm mistaking verisimilitude for genuineness.
But I assume you're not here for giant worms, when there are so many real things to see. Just as I was telling Mikhail before, this is where the Coalition landed in '08. We could be standing on what is the most interesting landmark in Revachol West.
He points to the building again. This man is your half-brother. You feel it, but why? Esprit de corps. So that's esprit de corps telling me that? Esprit de corps is your sense of brotherhood among the police force. So I'm guessing that this person is like maybe an investigator, maybe a private eye, someone in that kind of field. What's so fascinating about an empty old building? Aha, but it's not just any empty old building. He raises his hand to his eyes, springtime sun warming his handsome face. All four of you turn to admire the mural before you. What a lot of people don't know is, this used to be the R&D department of Feld Electrical. And Feld, which now sells ink cartridges, mostly, was once a top dog in the turn-of-the-century cybernetics boom. Hold on, what's R&D? Wait, what's an R&D department? Ah, apologies. It's an acronym used for research and development, but they don't use it anymore. He smiles brightly. Laugh lines around his eyes. You're probably more familiar with RTD, research and technological development. Mea culpa? You were not familiar with that one either. This man is a bookhead. Look at the building looming over you. It's Mia, by the way. It looks old and weathered, with seagulls picking apart its stone and metal carcass. Bushy undergrowth has taken hold of the collapsed rooftop. Some kind of bird has set up a nest on a broken windsill. I don't think I've ever heard of Feld Electrical. That's not surprising. Only a vestigial ink cartridge and ferrotape manufacturer remains. He adjusts his suit jacket. They started out as a midway electronics outfit in Koningstein 2 centuries ago. After an aggressive move to Revachol, Feld became a global player in the emerging personal electronics market of the pre-revolutionary era. Personal electronics? Okay. We're seeing like a lot of direct parallels to like the timeline as we understand it of our own world. Still, Tricentennial was beating them in business machines. He gestures towards the building. But Feld had an ace up their sleeve. Or should I say, they were developing an ace up their sleeve. He grins. I'm mixing my metaphors here. What was the ace? It was here in Martinez, possibly in this very building, that they developed prototypes for he pauses for effect, tape computer. A tape computer? Mm-hmm. An elegant folding mechanism of rollers and fellow tape ribbons, portable enough to be a take-it-home solution, revolutionizing business machines, possibly even bringing them to the average consumer. Which is a feat of engineering even today's giants Ream, ICN, and ZAM haven't achieved yet. He grins, admiring the sentence he just produced. He assumes something like a combat stance, facing the wind. What happened? Indeed. What? The revolution. The boy wipes his nose on his sleeves. He nods. Unfortunately, their moonshot project never made it to market. Feld's move to Revachol backfired. The revolutionary government liquefied their assets and expropriated those very advanced prototypes, possibly from this very building, or one of the adjacent ruins. He pauses, pointing to the other building, then continues. All of this was built by Feld, even this boardwalk. Boardwalk? That's wrong. I'm getting kind of close, but the sound is bad. Even this boardwalk. Wild Pines made Martinez proper a resort for their middle management. Feld built this side of the town for R&D. You're saying that Feld Electrical built this boardwalk? Look under your feet. Yeah, they even built a pleasure wheel, but that got destroyed in the war. A pleasure wheel? The lieutenant looks wistfully in the horizon, as if picturing gondolas rising to the sky. Perhaps reminded of a childhood memory? It's clear he'd prefer if there were a big wheel lighting up the coast. Yes, to lure in their star engineers. This part of Martinez was nothing but reeds before Feld arrived. They had to make the prospect of living here attractive. It was supposed to become a global center for innovation in cybernetics. But history had other plans. What happened to the engineers, the company people? Oh, that one didn't end well for the boys, I'm afraid. He smiles again, as if he's somehow personally responsible for the bleak turn of events. But this story is a bit too dark for little Mikhail here. Now, if you were to ask about tape computers, he means that the boys got shot by the communists. The boys were the bourgeoisie. Were bourgeois, rather. Oh. I really want to tell the kid. But I don't want to make Trent mad. Trent's rad. What a rad dad, Trent. Tape computers, right. Tape computers, he nods, wind tussling his suit jacket. I've also finished a thought there. I'm finally part of the homosexual underground, hell yeah! What did the revolutionaries do with those advanced tape computers? They used them for military communications, he says, while his son looks up, idly chewing on the corner of his worm-themed coloring book. But also to write and send out press releases. The most notorious example being the Le Décret de Mars. What was that? What's the March Decree? I mean, the radio transmission sent out to news agencies and world governments by the newly created Commune of Revachol on the 7th of March in the year 02. It's a beautiful piece of text, actually. A singer-songwriter I know, Charette, called it a love poem to Revachol on her political concept album, Bons Basier d'Inicilinde. You should read it. Every local library in Revachol stocks a copy of the decree. I tried to get Mikhail here to it's not Mikhail. It's Mikhail. Mikhail. Yeah, he says it Mikhail. I tried to get Mikhail here to memorize it. He looks at his son, who starts giggling, his face hidden behind the book. Or well, tried to. Someone was paying too much interest. Someone who was too interested in worms to be paying any attention. The kid takes a peek over the green and silver worm on the cover of his book, already forgetting about this part of the conversation. How do the tape computers work? Do they work like radio computers? Actually, no one knows. No one even knows what a computer made entirely of tape would look like. But word has it they were very elegant, exquisite, alien-looking turn-of-the-century hardware. He raises his finger, remembering something. 10 years ago, I did a little freelancing, I guess you could say. I was a special consultant for the exhibition at the Wompty-Dumpty-Dom. What? At the Wompty-Dumpty-Dom Center in Vredefort, Aranya. It raised the same questions, and we had lengthy discussions with Paul Ackerman, who was the head curator at the time. This was just before the twins Keith and Guy Juice joined the team, trying to... Wait, did he just say Wompty-Dumpty-Dom Center? He did. He said Wompty-Dumpty-Dom Center like it's the most natural thing in the world, and it tripped me up instead. What the hell is a Wompty-Dumpty-Dom Center? And who the hell are Keith and Guy Juiced? Okay, the Wompty-Dumpty-Dom Center, Paul Ackerman, Keith and Guy Juiced? What are you talking about? The Wompty-Dumpty-Dom Center for Contemporary Arts. There it is again, those words. The exhibition itself drew on Langermann's notion of memory, and so there are some parallels. That's why the head curator Paul Ackerman chose to... You're making this up, turns to Lieutenant. Kim, is he making this up? I'm not. In fact, I'm not. The Wompty-Dumpty-Dom Center, he says casually, is a place you can visit if you're ever in Vredefort. And if you're ever in the market for an exhibition space / contemporary art research center, he clears his throat. But perhaps I should return to the tape computers. As I was saying, the device itself is very elegant, fragile even. One could write directly on the tape using a special chemical solution. The machine would then analyze the handwriting, performing operations and project output onto a white screen. It was a beautiful, delicate thing. Made of black film and folding tape structures. Nod, cool. Very, very cool, he agrees. Though I understand the socioeconomic causes of the revolution, it pains me to imagine the revolutionaries setting fire to this precious device. But so they did. The Feld playback experiment vanished into the fires of '07. Wait, the Feld playback experiment? Yes, the official name of the prototype. Some sources report it as the Feld playback experience, but those are incorrect. Why did the revolutionaries destroy it? Who knows? Maybe it was an accident. Or maybe they didn't want the technology to end up in the wrong hands. Either way, they're all gone now. All 3 versions of the prototype. Nothing but debris and ashes remain inside that building. He takes a step back. The boardwalk creaks mournfully in the wind. I wanted to ask something else. But of course, what else? He smiles and ruffles his kid's head. You look like someone who has money. Do you have any money? I'm looking for a suspect. Have you seen anyone suspicious around? No, I'm afraid I can't help you with this one, officer. It's just a regular day off for me and Mikhail here. He pats his son's head. So you haven't seen anyone around? No, I'm sorry. As I said, this is just a day off. We just arrived anyway. There's something friendly and familiar in how he says that. A day off. He's telling the truth. He hasn't seen anyone. I want to hear about the Feld building again, and then I don't want to hear about it again. You look like someone who has money. Do you have any money? I do have some money, yeah. But that's not really what's important here. He brushes it off like it's not a thing at all. He's not going to give you money? What are you doing? Clearly you were just profiling. No, I mean, come on. You need the money. It's not a thing. He can give you some. Can I have some of that unimportant money then? Oh no, I don't have it on me, officer. I was talking in more general terms. He looks uncomfortable, his left hand squeezing on the son's shoulder. I'm just spending time here with my kid, showing him around the lesser known parts of his hometown. It wouldn't be wise to carry huge amounts of cash on such expeditions. Great, thank you for all the information. No, thank you for having me and little Mikhail here to pick your brain. A very interesting conversation indeed. Pick your brain? If anything, this was rather one-sided. He did the talking. Whatever. I have a suspicion. Based on his knowledge of corporate history and previous connection to Aranya and obvious wealth, this guy might be like a corporate counter spy, like corporate counter espionage. I'm very glad that the conversation never came around to the city, because I imagine this might be the person who's here possibly to kill Klaasje. I know it's a long bow to draw, but I got a little bit of a feeling, you know? Thought complete. Homosexual underground. Maybe you should stop obsessing about your own and other people's sexuality. Feels like it's about time to do that. You've thought about this for 8 hours? Not only should you stop, you should tell Kim you've stopped obsessing about other people's sexuality too. I'm sure he'd appreciate it. Unless you already got him killed because you were obsessing about your sexuality. There's no way of telling from within your brain, but for your own sake, please say you didn't. Stopped obsessing about sexuality. That sounds like a good solution from that. Neat. I also have like 4 skill points waiting. Wumpty Dumpty Dom Center as well. Wumpty Dumpty Dom Center. It's Wednesday evening and something heinously exciting is underway. People have gathered beneath the billowing roof of an oddly shaped trophy building, sipping wine and exchanging opinions. 29-year-old Wunderkins, Guy and Keith Juiced are the stars of the show with their bomber jackets and white sneakers, head curators of the art exhibition. It's the Wumpty Dumpty Dommiest event of the year, and all the cool kids have RSVP'd. Where are you, if you're not there? So I can't get any more brain slots. Magnesium-based life form is not something I care about. I'm gonna forget magnesium-based life form. And I'll start working on Wumpty Dumpty Dom Center. Worst case scenario, I just forget it and go for something else. Okay. Now, I can level up Shivers, but I can still only get it to like a somewhat decent level, not a good level. I feel like I want to level at least one of these up. Let's level up Encyclopedia twice. Actually, no, we'll level it up once. Yeah, and then I'm going to go and try and search for the cause of my expression. And then failing that, I'll level it up again and do it again. Bars cover these long, dusty windows. The remaining windows rattle from a strong gust of wind. They're covered in a thick layer of grime. They must have been like this for 40 years. Try to see inside. Dripping water falls from a high place. All you can see is the shadow of a collapsing staircase. There's rust and corrosion on the bars. They're still foaming with it. And a small layer of white salt from the sea. Lieutenant, can you make out what's inside? Point to the windows. No. He shakes his head. The windows rattle in their frames. I won't even try. You know. He takes his glasses off. I had a partner once. They called him Eyes, because he had to show me things. It's that bad. This partner of his, Eyes, things didn't end well. It saddens him to say the name. Don't even ask. He wouldn't answer. Maybe just some other small talk? Can you still shoot, though? Well, enough, actually. It's odd how that works. I'm no sharpshooter, but I can pass my shooting courses 7 out of 10. Alright. Good to know, bud. Alright, we've got like a huge area down here that we haven't checked out before we want to go north there. Someone must have worked hard to smash this plastic dome. A metal payphone under a yellow plastic dome. You could use it to call someone. Unless you're out of change. I just want to see who it'll tell me I have the ability to call. Put 10 cents in and dial a random number. Alright. Calling. Still calling. This feels wrong. Should you be doing this? End of tone. Someone picks up. Pierre? Is that you, Pierre? The voice is female and sounds about 100 years old. I might be. What's Pierre like? So nice of you to find the time to call me. It gets so lonely. Even the animals have died. It gets lonely even when you're with people? I don't want to say that to her. That would be my answer, though. It gets lonely even when you're with people, sure. Are you sure you're Pierre? Your voice, it's different. Chrysanthemum. Her voice is drowned in white noise. Sounds like waves washing a beach. Growing in volume until the call suddenly disconnects. You get a sinking feeling. It makes you look if... What? You get a sinking feeling. It makes you look if Lieutenant Kitsuragi overheard you. To your relief, he did not. Do it again! Calling, calling. Again? Seriously? Someone with a masculine voice picks up. Hello, Gerard speaking. Hello, Gerard. Technically speaking, you're electricity. No, what you are is a surprise. Get his wife on the phone. What? Gerard, what a douche name! Change it! Change your name! Hey, Gerard, get your wife on me, will you? What? Who is this? The man doesn't understand. It's Harry. Put her on. I don't like waiting. Who the fuck do you think you are talking to me like that? The voice on the phone is suddenly very aggregated. Yeah, no, I don't want to say that line at the front there. That's just being a dick for no reason. I was hoping this would be like a fun prank thing, but no, that's... I want content. I want to just go continue the conversation, but I think I just have to hang up. I think I'm done with that conversation. There's no good way out of that. A dead phone. A smashed receiver. Like someone hung up too hard.
Yes?
I have big news, Kim. Tell Kim how you no longer obsess over your sexuality. Okay. I have managed to stop obsessing about my sexuality. Great. Imagine all the time you'll have for work now. Matter of fact, we should get back to it right now. Nod. He turns his attention elsewhere. Just one thing, though. What? Are you part of the homosexual underground? You didn't stop at all, did you? You're just obsessing about other people's sexuality now. Yeah, but... But am I? I'll spare you another 20-hour mind project. Yes, I am. Now let's get back to work. That's the truth. Rad. Hell yeah, Kim. There's a slit in the concrete here. The sewer? The light vanishes inside the concrete slit. The structure goes deep under the earth. What's in there? Maybe it's just a storm drain for a sewer? Kim, any idea what's down there? No idea. He takes off his glasses to polish. Could be connected to one of the buildings around here. Think we might find Ruby down there? We might find her down somewhere. There's an old storm drain system beneath Martinet that's mostly collapsed. Revachel's sewer system has been built and rebuilt 4 or 5 times now. He puts his glasses back on. In conclusion, she could be under any building. But not in there. He looks into the slit and sighs. I hope not. Yell, "Oh!" into the slit. There's no answer. And no echo. Finished thoughts. No echo, so it's an enclosed enough space on the inside to not produce an echo. You feel the shadow of a very large building fall on you. The sign reads Saint Brun, 1147. Dusty pews in the shadows. Many seem to be missing. An altar shrouded in dark. Or something like that. It's too dark to tell. Okay, we've been here before. The other side is where the cryptozoologists were, right? No? Ooh, give me the money. Then I'll pull up the map, and then we'll loop back around to that point. I just need to make sure that I kind of like sweep evenly up the map, lest I completely miss something. Okay. Pulling up the... right, the map actually for this game is not very developed. By choice, I imagine. It's useful for making you focus intently on these kinds of things. So I don't have a problem with it, but can be a little bit frustrating. Wait, hang on. Whoa, Joyce? Hey!
I'll just keep the cordially in the channel if that's okay. It's too shallow near the pier.
She winds, winds rather, the mooring line around a post.
Aye, ma'am. And it's a jetty, by the way.
Of course, jetty. I prefer a good jetty to appear any day. Jetty.
Something about the way she says it makes you want to sing. Jetty, jetty.
Oh, jetty, oh, jetty.
She responds mournfully.
It's good to see you here, detectives. I only just arrived myself.
And secures the mooring line.
What brings you here, madame?
Nothing, really. I've had my eye on this jetty for weeks now. So I decided to investigate it personally. This cluster of buildings isn't on any of the official maps, as far as I can tell.
That, and she's also been keeping an eye on you. Have you been spying on us?
Spying has such a negative connotation. I did track your progress along the coast, however, and decided I would be better able to assist you from here. Then there's the matter of that little scamp in old lady clothes. She threatened to paint the cordially red, like blood, you see. Well, I like it the way it is. Quite.
The little scamp in old lady clothes? What is this? Destruction of property? Hooliganism? Elder abuse? Little scamp in old lady clothes. Is that Cindy? I guess it could be Cindy. Oh, right, yeah, Grace did used to be quite close to Cindy. That's just Cindy being Cindy. You can ignore her.
It's just as well. Lillian and I are getting on much better. For one, she appreciates the concept of rent.
So how do you like it here? Look around.
How do I like it?
She casts her gaze towards the village, slush melting on the cinder blocks, construction work half finished from 10 years ago. Water drips down the eaves of Eternite. The jetty below her feet cracks to the tune. The smell of salt and dog shit in the background.
It's pornographically poor. The street has no name. All the men are dead or missing. And is that the carcass of a motor carriage over there?
She squints her eyes.
I'm surprised that woman hasn't put me to the sword yet. Maybe she will. You should ask your questions while you can.
Dark eyes survey the coast leading up to Martinez. Dull grey metal rests in her scabbard. A sword. The wind is too loud for her to hear.
Fortunately for you, madame, the RCM is on the scene.
All right, politics time. Let's react. Real men, real politics, real thoughts in your head. You're right to be scared. This is all your fault. Maybe. She leans against the railing, looking up at the grey sky. It's early spring, and the rains are coming. An officer enters a low hut of stone and wood. Inside, weapons are piled up against the walls. Rifles with splintering stocks, and swords. Tens, if not hundreds. They're antiques, says Lieutenant John, the archetype McCoy, to his partner. They're digging them up from the catacombs now, fixing them. Old caches from the revolution. The children carry 'em up. Come May, the street'll be flooded. Outside, the wind rattles with loose hatches. Flooded with cheap weapons. In angry hands. Have I told you how they discovered this place? The wind picks up. Her raincoat flaps in the gusts. This island? No. The Insulindian Isla. What is an isla exactly? I'm guessing you don't know then. No, you haven't told me how they found it. Well, your condition has left you no worse off than most of these people. The literacy rate is around 45% west of the river. 50 years of occupation have left these people in an oblivion of poverty. Say nothing. It's a pity. Most of these people will never know what this place means. This island of matter. Or why they were ferried over here in the first place. Remind me to tell you one day. She corrects the scarf around her neck. For now, how can I assist you in this new location? Tell me now. We have time. Do we? He glances at his watch. It doesn't look like he does. I hear you have singled out a suspect and are in pursuit. This is cause for cautious optimism. I wouldn't want to delay you. This story she will tell it only before she leaves Martinet at the very end of her stay. Maybe there is something I can assist you with while you're hot in pursuit. Well, I mean, I haven't spoken with Evrart since. She doesn't have anything new to say to me, I don't think.
Good.
You're back. Good. You're back. Good. You're back. Good. Okay. Feeling more comfortable with that.
The waves are beginning to die down. Look at the...
Let's go find a place up the coast. Okay, so I must be able to round this corner. But wait, I tried this before and it didn't work. Hang on. I'm gonna come all the way over here and then that's where I want to be. I guess maybe it connects up here, but see, the thing is, it does, but I can't. Oh, wow, I have to walk under the building to actually get around that. Never mind. Everything's fine. Ooh, new person. Must have taken a lot of patience to do this. Painted with pastels. Someone is trying to bring cheer into the world. Trash from some unending party. A pole screwed into the ice. Keeps things erect. More tribalistic markings. This post is covered in little humanoids. This is someone's home away from home. Just like yours. A pane of eternite has been planted into the snow. Two poles are holding it up. Barely holding it up, though. It could fall over at any minute. A stronger gust of wind might be enough. What is this? It looks like a makeshift bridge. He adjusts his collar against the cool breeze. Could be convenience. Push it over. The pane falls into the icy snow with a soft thunk. We should ask that girl on the ice what's going on here. He gestures towards the young woman next to the tent. Well, that would be entering the tent rather than talking to the tent, so let's have a discussion with you. In the next episode, because we're almost at 40 minutes, and that's probably a long conversation. I keep cliffhangering these conversations. For the moment, my name is Rhapsody. The name of the game has been Disco Elysium. Hopefully you've been enjoying yourselves, and hopefully we'll see you next time.